What a beautiful day for Aston Villa fans.
What to me?
Any omo coach. The patrol big no me onipa. Yeah, what do you make rara? Okay. Yeah, we are sure say Aston Villa fans in sorry and no pay momo me ni ani no bechu street. So yesterday I saw a video of the Prince of Wales all celebrating the second goal, and you could see the excitement and the energy at the end of the day. So what to me the clubs or more European trophy. Now in the history of English clubs, 4 teams managed the Champions League and the Europa League. Over here Chelsea, over here Liverpool, over here Manchester United, no over here Aston Villa. Now you look at these teams and the level of achievement and maybe and I can't get see of whatever UNAI EMERY about Aston Villa ababe. Now, whenever there is a victory, there is argument. Whenever there is argument, it depends on maybe a amount for person party A or party B sujina. There have been conversations around say UNAI EMERY a brilliant manager. And called bro Aston Villa so. I was go to me born home and coach top clubs nibi. Can coach obi to say Manchester United a carbonanim. Coach Liverpool a carbonanim because he has proven himself beyond reasonable doubt that he is the man to get you certain results at certain moment. First of all, Aston Villa team, he has not looked back. And now, her squad no more used to there were still 7 players on no best Aston Villa muno. Or that's one more started and game. Meaning, say, what better signing to a team, but what team improve players do I hold on no more day. No more. And they were team call Spain a cover Pau Torres and Abba Pau Torres a bench player of Aston Villa. And it's quite shocking. She the why Victor Lindelof. And now Victor Lindelof bought as a defensive midfielder. And look at the brilliance. I know they bought that particular game. And Obian will question the quality of coaching at UNAI EMERY and the brainy teams whenever he coaches them. But now, life here will be an edge. Obian said in Abrabo City and baby of our DDA. There's not many at times that you need to change your environment. Obiason can stay in your comfort zone. But know your level, work towards it, and try and make sure so that you matter a certain stage. It imitates the casa after the game, no. What in commodity na odi na ya. Or see or hit team ne kutani say na. There also mutimi and omaye. Name I also mutimi bomb more modern through stage because or Premier League na or more target. Manchester City, any Arsenal. Or met me beat you to the league. No, I can't head the Champions League. One more compete because the other time they played in the Champions League, only said the likes of Paris Saint-Germain and your boy. No, that was a really close game. Donnarumma and I had the difference between the two teams. And Paris Saint-Germain and moving to the next round, the Champions League. But this time, I must find a way to get their hands on a European trophy. How does this translate into them competing for the ultimate? I think for UNAI EMERY Nankasano, or no better than say say yaw. He say team you could tell me in my year achievement time and said to me okay, I normal. I need to challenge myself to competing for the league. Do they have the quality players to compete for the league? Yes. Do they have a coach that can compete for the league? Yes. Now in the absence of the likes of Pep Guardiola, I know many starting season, you are not about 10 games, no be intimidation. They have quality in depth, and it gives you more hope going into next season. I just want to see him do something more than the Europa League. Yeah, what in the major? They say UNAI EMERY, be more than the Europa League. The success story in the Europa League is no doubt. Sevilla, 3 consecutive times. 2013, 2014, 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016. Villarreal, 2020, 2021. Then there's Aston Villa. What a brilliant journey for this coach in the Europa League. But Mihuni said on challenging itself more and more to take Aston Villa to a different level in terms of competing for the league and competing for the Champions League. But it brings you to another beautiful story of the level of achievement that is into coaching nowadays. Meaning, so what's the trend in Asia? Any the way our coaching city call Europe in your mind to turn up. It used to be in favor of the Italians, where they used to dominate world coaching. It is all peculiar. Obefa Antonio Conte at a point in time about England or the Chelsea Abeji League. Obe Carlo Ancelotti, Wakofa Real Madrid, or the Real Madrid at the Champions League. Then all of these things will be moving around. Then Mauricio Sarri even comes to England and the Chelsea Europa League. So the context of Italian coaches and their level of achievement in terms of the coaching job, but in recent times, and your mess is sakakra because already the current trend now, the Spanish coaches in sorry, monaso mooding kunimo bibirimu. Because when they say, check your head in ya, oh, be a boy, Arola Basso. Arola no free for the Basque region, in Spain for Macasomonio Montenadia, but oh, yeah, they're Cromocas Bay. Oh, my bit say Mikel Arteta, who has just won the league. Then you go back and look at where he's also coming from. Then you look at somebody like UNAI Emery, who has won the Europa League. And then the last coach or J, the UEFA Champions League. Luis Enrique, of free Spain and Ameboa. So look at the trend and how things are moving. Any the way resource is it equal. Germans in the crowd here, even their biggest club. Oh, we would the FC by American. And your bedroom Nina Befer Humanity or Makoji League. So in the top 5 European leagues, the headlines of coaches are dominated by the Spanish coaches. What are they doing right? Yeah, I think they've grown to a certain extent. Amabejia to himself, football is not played only in one way. They were good with what they do. Adio munimi no munimi. But I say on almost sure be the accommodate in terms of adapting to leagues, strategies, and even players. And a movie to a different level. A movie to a different stage. And the Champions League final, how many coaches in the Nijina bench? And you 2 Spanish coaches, Luis Enrique, and Ameboa, only Mikel Arteta. And I'm making sure there is going to be a very good resource for them at the end of the day. And then you're in the Conference League. Balakano coach no FIFA and yes Spain. So how many finalists in European competitions this year? 2 Champions League. 1 Europa League. 1 Conference League. These are the top European tiers. Spaniards dominate. Dominate. And it's in the good books, not necessarily in the bad books. And I think we can only see how these young managers, young coaches are almost stepping up into the scene to make sure. And I'm somebody's agitation about the Italian Serie A say Napoli Epe Mauricio Sarri. Then me who comment you as say if Italian football wants to come back, omunya rotation na omuya na fibia. Because league na ebon ebebo wi ni say Conte free wana Sarri na aba. Sarri ni free one man Allegri na be fa adwuma no. It was the runabout now. Then Gian Piero Gasparani. Omwa na etwa omu wo Syria ni mwa dani omu until recently Simone Inzaghi free system nim. Ana Kivu ebe fa adwuma ni bi. Komwa na etwa omu dani enim omu na. I wouldn't even be surprised. Say at the end of the day, say AC Milan decided say okay omu ni Allegri party ways are. Allegri ba ko fa bia Juventus bi. Na bia fast forward, yaba be hunu say bia Antonio Conte asakofa AC Milan. Within the current terrain, whilst the young managers in the Italian Serie A are not getting the opportunity to. Obeka Thiago Motta. How many months in the Thiago Motta? Should the number of games Allegri lose? Or can we be say similar to Milan qualify for Champions League? He is part of the reason. Juventus are struggling now. But most Thiago Motta by after about 6 months, the style of play no. There be more than a coin. No petite line. Andrew Pello befa adwuma complaints Andrew Pello suja adwuma no one dey call. And the state they find themselves in are really questionable, and it has even affected their national team. And obia kan won as compared to the Spanish teams who are giving opportunities to even the young coaches to come into the big terrains and coach. Thiago Motta free go coach whenever. Other top European teams is it omogo omo animo ase. And this is where I believe coaching in terms of the various federations we used to know them. Dane. Yaw, OBPM Manchester United one of the most important moments of more transitions. The Americans are one of the most important moments of more transitions. The ability to recoup quality players in terms of their midfield. season where we are Casemiro wa kra okọ I mean sure so bobo Brighton game no odi ano no to nchen a Manuel Ugarte bibi a che so be free team ni mako. So the realistic option for Manchester United midfield now aka nipa ba akope in the shape of Kobe Menu because na dey be all started Messi Mount e deputize Bruno Fernandes but neya Casemiro obekoi ani ehuni say wo ma na Michael Carrick di Messi Mount abehye mfimfin o. Now which kind of players could come into the Manchester United midfield and do better? But you see, the first thing Obiara wants them say, oh, when a United should go and buy 40, United should go and buy 60. But the thing is, United should be able to recoup midfielders. One, yaw, omoye first teamers. Two, omoba team number first teamers na. Ubeti media nya bench crop omoye quality in depth. Yemfa players omoye squad depth to improve a team one. We expect some performing at the highest level. You use first team players to create quality depth when it comes to the squad. Because if you are looking for somebody like Edison, say Edison in your player or first team also for position of Manchester United. You can't move from the signings of somebody like Mbemo and Cunha in attack. Then straight to midfield options say Mueha. So now me can be from the Athletic this morning say United first tier options. Ome obi to say Addison. Ome obi to say Sandro Tonali. Ome obi to say Tchouaméni. These three players, omo say muba ko mo sabetimi aka omo. Realistically, Anderson so ko Nottingham Forest one more probable be 120. So ko obi to say Sandro Tonali dependent on who Newcastle wants to sell first. Because we be actually also Newcastle top players. One about a story and they say I feel we realize also on two. Integral Anthony Gordon. By many can you monko for any address and many muya on bet my Anthony Gordon in Napoli. So meaning if they should sell another player even before Tonali, when you go in on bet my job 80-90, then there's Tchouaméni. 50-50. Say Real Madrid under Jose Mourinho. I feel no be assessing squad. Obe Jane so Omra. MSC can from out. And now so be in any. The number tier 2 no ehona Edison Monte Carlos Baleba Monia Lescott mo. Na omuba Lescott di ne tier 2 na asabo do say ana ko for mani abre na munye serious.
Lescott.
Because yaw, Lescott money from Manchester United and compete for league. Now the Lescott ko di league way. Let's be honest with ourselves. If Manchester United are buying midfielders like Anderson, Tonelli or Tchouaméni, maybe Obefa Edison Obefa Lescott to be as the third option, you would agree. You would agree. Because in competing for the league title and competing in the Champions League, it's a Champions League in 8 matches. So yeah. Imagine say you want to go forward. What could Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona, or say the Lescott in a combo midfield? Let's not be deceiving ourselves. The reason why Manchester United scored more than 50% of the goals they scored last season is because they went into the market and they bought quality and experience. Just half for attack now, midfield now it doesn't happen. You can't go for Cunha and Mbemo in terms of looking at the Premier League and the quality they offer to their teams and come back into the midfield, say, oh, signings. Then you'll be looking at players more to me for Manchester United didn't do the next level. Carrick should look at himself in the mirror because this is something that can define Manchester United from a to the following 2 or 3 seasons because I might ignore that particular position for a long period of time. Me Carrick
Benya say.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Carrick will say conversations, and he himself have even said they've had conversations about going into the summer, the players they want to buy, the players they want to bring in, and it's on your money now. So more than a writer, you can't go into the market to go and get midfielders and ignore tier 1. What the tier 2 Mieluba? Now be now be tier 3 be you failed. Get your optimus midfielder, highest quality. Then they can obey me the attack to the aba. And yes, sir, in the Premier League. Then no one who you know omoye wo man from 50 on the adena. In the Premier League next season, Liverpool are not going to go low. Obian will say this is a shot to win it. In the absence of Guardiola, Obian betru Mikase League no betimi age. Everyone will enforce. So don't think you will sit down and go and use certain players to go and compete and go and win. It won't happen. Football is not magic. Ultimately, yes, for attack and change your mind in the midfield when going into the second season. And the first season was signing is now and you failed. Yeah, you failed.
Mike, Bray.
Fancy, me that say, my mention say word baby I knew no. It's Emery an elite manager. I think that to answer this, let's be a bit academic. Na yem fa we from batan hokakra. Who is an elite manager or what makes an elite manager? There were certain parameters I share near ka say ampa you where the was through hobby. It's like who is a top analyst and now when a top sports host and a top foreign news presenter. Yeah, what dear Woshe stage in the so you must not just win trophies, but how consistent and competent you can be within a certain time frame in terms of winning trophies. 2, giving a certain club an identity that transforms, not just an identity. Oh, met me at Rose, Mombo Boni say me penisa. They say Roberto Di Zabi the enemy. Oh, or Brighton or Mobo. Or what must say or mobile, you don't have a space. You have a bit me a bobble lefe. But you give an identity to a club that transforms, like the Pep Abeye, or Manchester City. What Pep did, or Barcelona. That is giving an identity a transformative. It will generate success eventually. And also parameters in Hubi. Again, manager Nankasan and a personality. Anyhow, he is able to bridge the gap between clubs or Befa and the clubs at Wasro, especially a club Ninisra. Meha Meninka, Pep Befa Man City. No, City were like a 4th ranked club in England. All those are no Magic League in Ibida. But now, City are either the top club in England or within the top 2. So, Wapeja team no at the Akodru stage be. And that is what elite managers do. So in the context of what Emery has done with Aston Villa, does he qualify to be regarded as an elite manager? And my answer is yes. Now, Emery was appointed somewhere October 2022. Sir Shadrach Mobe Boamia, I think let me send this. Aston Villa for Emery, no, they came out with a publication on their website. Shadrach Media Sendos Wenya Fatu Sumame. And the publication reads, Aston Villa is delighted to announce the appointment of UNAI Emery as the club's new head coach. And the screen is, UNAI joins from BRL, whom he had led to Europa League success by beating Manchester United in the final in 2021, as well as the semi-finals of the Champions League last season. And in fact, in that Champions League season, Bayern and Liverpool and the BRL Fimu and Liverpool co-final Nicosia Madrid. A highly experienced top-level coach who has managed over 900 games, UNAI has also had previously managed in the Premier League during a spell with Arsenal, leading the Gunners to a Europa League final. He has also enjoyed notable success at Sevilla and at Paris Saint-Germain. In Seville, he won 3 successive Europa League titles between 2013 and 2016 before going on to lift a Ligue 1 championship in France, as well as 2 French Cups, 2 French League Cups, and 2 Trophées de Champion. UNAI will take over from November 1st after his work permit formalities are completed. The Omocho Wahebiano, Aston Villa did not state, oh, he's a coach who plays this type of football. Technically, he will advance us here. They spoke to the success of UNAI Emery. And they were moving on from an English football legend in Steven Gerrard. So from Gerrard, they were bringing on board UNAI Emery. But story on their website about the success, the achievement of Emery. So what is the thinking here? Emery in the 80 didn't buy and say, Wajiwe. So everywhere he goes, he wins. Aston Villa needed to transition from one point to the other. At time Emery Befa club, it was an Aston Villa club that had not spent 10 seasons our league they had gone on relegation. Dean Smith and Daroma, they came back. It was a club still struggling to find their feet. No matter of a monkey from Serbia as a sporting director Monfanembra. And one of the decisions Monkey took was to bring a manager who would transform the status of the club. Now Emery Bayern, in less than 4 years, Aston Villa will be playing in the Champions League how many times? 2. If you cry the Omokwa could do knockout stage, PSG in the year
that was a quarter final.
Exactly. Yeah. Now they have qualified again. In Europe, they have won their first major European trophy since 1982.
44 years.
Exactly. And to the Omo trophy ne hono. Abim. Okay, so he's a top manager. We need to upgrade. I will say upscale a level no. Ye Aston Villa you will form you will be 10, 11, 12 position. By a person Frobeka 6 who the top 6 in England, then we need a manager who can do that. But not just that. A manager who can also achieve tangible success. And it's their first major trophy in 44 years. And that is what elite managers do. Emery na nkasa uji Aston Villa free nkobonim kakra. Baby, our corner so dear like the Aston Villa website told us. Villarreal had not won a major trophy before. He gave it to them. Villarreal were the also runs in Spain. He made them a regular in the Champions League. They said, yes, Simeone, Ayama Atletico Madrid, no. So, Villarreal no one Sevilla and Vienna Kofane by. But Kakra no, yeah, no. He cemented a certain status for them and left a certain background for them. Oja no. Villarreal, and you win from Kra. Out of 4 seasons in Europe, they have played 2 or 3 of them in the Champions League. This is almost Ansobo Champions League. So he laid the foundation. He gave them a certain identity. Identity and style of playing, but also the make of the team or the build or the frame of the team. Villarreal were not considered. And they are now making consistent Champions League appearances. Last season, no boy. Next season, no Besanswabo. Aston Villa, last 2 seasons they played in the Europa League, Champions League. This season they are playing in the Europa League. Next season, Obo Champions League. Before Emery, Bebana almost story Europe to saying. So he's had a transformative effect on the team. And that is what elite managers do consistently. So everywhere he's gone to, even PSG, almost 1 year successful, no, he won something. So everywhere Emery goes to, he wins something. It was some of the clubs that can platform and give him that. And that club will be an amount winning. And then 2, every club he goes to, he transforms their identity into one that can challenge the status quo. And the year can say, Aston Villa beat Liverpool to qualify outright for the Champions League. What challenges status quo, no?
And so Europe and crowd and a bad direction.
Yeah. You upset the rhythm. Atletico Madrid, Simeone, we upset the rhythm in Spain. What G League nimu. So yes, he's an elite manager, but I am Fuchidie Ebidi. Like we have royalty. Yawa ahini and yawa ahini. And ya ahini ni na yepe. Intini yawa omai hene ni yawa dikru. So in the elite manager bracket and our pyramid, no, Emery will not be at the same level, and now he will not be linear to Pep Guardiola. Omo was through. They are super elite managers like Alex Ferguson, mo. But there was a coach here. Orem into elite manager status, Emery has done it. So he can be considered an elite manager. But he is not a super elite manager. But again, find your niche and now carve your niche. Say, oh, say, brabekum or snoa. Sabi won't prepare who could see whom concupra. Emery level or one. It will be difficult for him to be like Pep. Pep Modiana, it starts right from the get-go. You see the signs. You knew Mourinho was a special coach. Right from the time I'm not translating my MANGER or Barcelona. Yes. You knew there was something special about him.
Rude to me.
So, super elite coaches, it starts from almost starting point. You see the signs. Ancelotti was assistant coach to Arrigo Sacchi. 1994 World Cup with the Italian national team. You saw that there was greatness coming. Signs, you know. Unfortunately, baby, EMERY do know. It will be difficult to reach Pep more level. It will be difficult.
So Glorious needs start to say a shifted the Champions League once and I.
No, you see what Pep Mayeno was it is not just the winning.
No, yeah. Like from day one,
exactly.
And I've also the jouer fan B.
Even Klopp.
Others even learn from them.
Excuse me.
That's right.
Even Klopp. I dare say Klopp and Ben Pep more level. He's Okas and Ben it is too high.
Okay.
Klopp and Drew Pep level, Bao Ben.
Okay.
Klopp is not the same as Pep.
Okay.
But Klopp is an elite manager. What you say? Alex Ferguson. Klopp is not the same as Ferguson. Ferguson's dominance established a dynasty, one that has not been replicated in any major top 5 European league. So, but Klopp was a bracket in him. But I unfortunately be the BH sanity. So EMERY can never be like Pep. He can never be like Ferguson. But he's still considered an elite manager. To say the Abuasre wawashe no ho a wawini nibuo no. Nibuo na wawini say Europa League no. Miso me Jimmy Dean wo ho Macau. And one Macau. You get it. Inti me ha me ho kra na ma be challenge. Say straight ahead and me Pep mobile be bo part to part onto me. But baby or no wa peja ne ho adu stage bia. So wutwa we ni hwa ase ho ben to me peja no kosro. He's close to Omo. So he's an elite manager. It ends there. Now we am come and then me person me nudi about why Arsenal their title celebrations are worth it and how they can sustain this level of celebrations almost every year for the next 5 years. The Premier League landscape is changing. So I share the trend now. Managers are leaving. Marco Silva will be joining Benfica. Andoni Raiola, brilliant season with Bournemouth. We don't know where he'll be heading, but he will be exiting Bournemouth. It's been cemented. Pep is leaving. The tenure of Premier League managers near the longest serving managers in the league. Now, the landscape in terms of coaching. The team Ebeji League no dominating league now. I have now longevity and so count it. Longevity, it comes with experience. Pep Guardiola is currently the longest serving manager in the Premier League as at May 2026. 9 years and 10 months since he's been at the helms of affairs for Man City. The next is Mikel Arteta. And who did Arteta learn from Pep? Pep has a certain mentality. Winning once is not enough. You win and win again. Some mentality, some mindset, no. And Arteta a develop or the Abbas now. So it is a never giving up mindset. Even if we don't win, we will bounce back. But if we win, we will try and win again. Tiano me buy no. Me can say if Arsenal devises the right strategy, now Omoya smart enough, they will dominate the league in the 5-year period. No, Omanje Krano met me. When Pep leaves, check it. The list of managers are Omoya close to Arteta's years. It will be EMERY.
Yeah, and Marco Silva.
Silva na Portugal. Omo was here honey and a slot. I feel no be prayer on the 3rd year. And we don't even know so bet to us who say on to us who Chelsea have a new coach. Manchester United Michael Carrick, I feel no be a full-term opportunity to do the job. So in the first full season, you don't know what will become of Michael Carrick or Man U. It could be that good, and as things could take a different turn. So the dynamics means that the top 6 teams in some a traditional top 6, there is uncertainty around omo teams. No one, omo planning omo squad in VA. 2, omo coaches in any experience omo no. It does not measure to what Arteta has. So Arsenal will have a manager who will be the longest serving in the league and a manager who has experience of winning the league again. Liverpool benya an experience in terms of manager wadi league ni bida, but in terms of longevity and a slot any Premier League nim and sing Arteta the way huno. And I keep saying this, but we learn more from losing than winning. All the periods Arsenal did not win, almost and that experience lessons it will guide them in trying to mount a title defense. And as what the one and they say, he's not lost a league title in England before. This season, in fact, the Anaslot or Twaso Obesuano, a bad doors once in the Oceania last season.
True.
Last season, not G League, He will not learn more than he will learn this season at Liverpool. Offer Arsenal squad Nibio now, Sha. Fancy, they are the ripe age. Omo ages, at the ripe age, or man mature, Anessa. And then that's no. Only 4 Arsenal players and bro 30 years. A goalkeepers. A goalkeeper do 30 years and you're bonnet. Because him said they can even go to 36. Manonaya is 38. David Raya is 30 years. Ni pick one way rano. And in the playing body, Christian Norgard is the oldest player, or 32 years. And Alejandro Trossard is 31. The rest of the Arsenal squad are within their prime years. You can't prime years again. Football in from 24 years to 29 years. And the peak years will be football. And a lot of these Arsenal players are within that bracket. Our average age is 26.3. And this is the ripe age to dominate. Go and check Man City. Abroad dominating league, Check the average age of their squad and then the respective ages of the players. A PR national Irano, and they have approached this squad at the right time. Chelsea, we don't know what happened to their squad. Chelsea were a young squad there, but you name the ABC. And the Warriors to players need because Spain could hear tennis.
Yeah, there
were other intentions behind it. Clubs scatter. So it means Arsenal they have the right materials to achieve sustained success, and it's only a matter of time. At times, it's so easy and simple to say they're marking, but in reality, putting it into practice, But I believe, they have the expertise and then they have the experience to navigate the path and get there.